Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show is none other than the great Sylvester Stallone, whose new show, Tulsa King, is now available on Paramount Plus. It premiered this past Sunday, and new episodes will drop weekly every single Sunday. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. It's nice to be able to talk about something that you don't have to lie about. It's not. It's pretty good. It's really good.
And is that your show or sports or what? What are we not lying about?
On this particular date, it's the show. It's the show. Tulsa King.
Terrific. And so why this show and why now? It's fine.
It's very hard, Rich, to find anything unusual. But you've been around as long as I have. I mean, my God. To come up with a unique idea. So they took actually a variation of an idea, fish out of water, mafioso gang guy who really went to jail, kept his mouth shut for 25 years, expecting to be rewarded. And instead, he's chastised, he's punished, he's sent into exile in Tulsa, where they basically expect him to disappear. But instead, his name is the general. He's an organizer. He's not a thug. And he starts building this whole infrastructure with cowboys, Indians, guys wearing flip-flops, Weegians. I mean, this whole, bouillabaisse of humanity. And he eventually built a new family there. And it has a lot of comic overtones of how do you start over at 76 years old, a stranger in a strange land? So the audience travels with him and sees the entire show unveil before their very eyes.
Well, I got to tell you, I was going to bring up the comedic aspect of it because I did find myself laughing out loud at some of your lines in the opening episode and how you handled your business in this episode. And I'll be honest as well. I know Terrence Winter is behind this along with Taylor Sheridan. There is some Tony Soprano sort of humor that I'm seeing in this thing here.
I think you have to. I was very fearful that they wanted to have the original concept. He was kind of a thug. He went out there and just kicked butt. And I go, that's not the way it would work. He would last about an hour before these cowboys took him somewhere and hung him. He has to be an organizer. He's a charmer. He ingratiates himself to people. And before you know it, he's in their lives. And they're actually doing better. That's the whole point. He's not taking from them. He's saying, look, let me show you how to really run this business.
And it's working out. And like exactly. I said, I really enjoyed the first episode, and I'm looking forward to so much more Sylvester Stallone and Tulsa King here on the Rich Eisen Show, and we'll circle back to it before we finish up. But I'm talking to you for me, having been a fan of yours for so long it's pretty cool, man. I'll be very honest. And obviously the movie Rocky for a show like mine is directly up the alley of the sports / pop culture fan.
Right.
And so is it true that this film was based off of a Muhammad Ali fight with Chuck Wepner? Is that how it first came to you, an idea there, Sylvester?
Let me be totally transparent, as they say. Rocky Marciano was the basis for the film. Mm-hmm. But considering the majority of people don't, unless you're really a fan of boxing, he quit in 1953, 54. So when I went to pitch it to the studio, I said, Rocky Marciano, they go, who? So just as fate would have it, they had the Ali Wepner fight, perhaps 2 or 3 months before, and they made a big deal out of the fact that someone stepped on someone's toe and he fell down, but it looks like the underdog knocked him down. So right away, it gave credence and validity that the underdog can, for a moment, have this bright, shining, unexpected, I don't even worry, just a magical era. Like he was now part of something. He's part of legend. Like Chuck Wepner, you just remember that. That's what he takes away. But he can live off of that and for the rest of his life. But the real thing was Marciano, because we're the same size. I mean, the fact that he had a 68-inch reach was unbelievable. And he was that kind of fighter, like a Rocky fighter. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't big, he was underwhelming. That's what made him so unique. And he started fighting at 22 years old. It's unbelievable.
So what caused you as a guy and you're getting started out in your career, like, I'm going to sit down and write this? and make this and make it sort of a mission for you? Like what caused you to come up with this concept of Rocky?
I thought that I was very, very frustrated, like most people are with their lives, because I think the concept of actually going all the way and becoming a champion is a rare one, and it's not really validated by much success. Most people, all they want is an opportunity to take a shot at the golden ring. And if they fail, they say, well, at least I tried. I had that moment. But when you don't receive that moment, you're not afforded that privilege of competing and showing what you have, you live a very frustrated life. And that's the way I was living. One, as an actor, I was not being taken seriously, or as a writer, or as anything else. And I thought, well, no one really cares about an out-of-work actor. But boxing, the sport itself, is such a metaphor for life, because it really is about getting up, taking the beating, going forward, overcoming your fears, this and that. So I use that metaphor and the embodiment of Rocky to basically tell everyone's story.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked Carl Weathers a couple of years ago. Is Rocky a sports movie in your estimation?
Never. No, not even close. And I used to get so upset when they say, oh, it's like Hoosiers. I said, no, it's not like Hoosiers or anything else. It's a love story about a broken down, unexciting fighter who's actually lost more than he's won. The whole point is, once you find a goal or an object, an ideal to fight for, like a family, for example, you fight much harder than you would if you're doing it on your own. You realize you have all these other people dependent on you. So until he finds love, he goes, wow. And then all of a sudden, everyone barnacles on him. They realize their entire lives are now joined together. And this fella here is going to give some credence and value to their very existence. So that's what the whole thing is about. Without Adrian, there's no Rocky, period.
It's interesting. Carl said the same thing, that it's a love story, but he said it's a love story between Rocky and Apollo Creed. Was his answer on that one too.
Carl, I think Carl was drinking that day.
No, I guess he was talking about the whole arc, obviously, of your characters, right? But that's
I mean, I like Carl's cologne and everything, but we're not having a love story here.
No, it was just an answer again, that it is not a sports movie, that it is not.
No. Because, Rich, there's probably 6.5 minutes of actual boxing. Yeah, does he train? But the sports is completely secondary. It's not about winning. Okay, we're going to pull together. It's not remember the Titans at all. Matter of fact, he doesn't even care if he wins. He just wants to go the distance. That's it. His goal, which I think all people, subjectively have, I just want to make it through my life, take care of my kids, pay my taxes, go on a few vacations and say, yeah, I did it. I ended up on my feet. And that's what the objective and the message was.
Do you got a good Burgess Meredith story? How he got involved? What's your favorite one?
I did. Burgess, first of all, the director was asking all these people to read. Burgess Meredith had been acting for 40 years. And my original choice was Lee J. Cobb. And he came in and he goes, oh, I can't wait to do this thing. I go, really? Oh, fantastic. Then the director goes, well, you need to audition. He goes, excuse me? Lee J. Cobb, like on the waterfront? And the only one who did it was, because everyone else was insulted, like, how dare you? We've done 110 films, all these other actors. But Burgess stepped up and he did it. And he had been nominated, Rich, the year before. I mean, he's really an accomplished actor. But the worst thing was he finally gets the part. And I tell him, in a perfect world, Burgess, if we get to chapter 3, you have to pass away. What? He goes, well, I said, you're telling me you're gonna hire me, but I'm gonna die later on. I go, that's the joke, unfortunately, because I have to carry the torch on, and you're gonna be a dramatic lever to promote, to push the story much more in an emotional direction. He goes, I refuse to die. And he said, I'm leaving early today because I have a dog food commercial to do. And that way I'm not going to stick around and die. I said, you're not leaving to do your dog food commercial, and you're taking a 10 count. You're out, pal.
Going down.
But he did not want to die. That's it. I refuse. You have to. He goes, put me in a wheelchair. Put me in a coma. I said, I'm sorry. And you know, the truth is, Rich, I wish I had.
Really?
I wish I could. Yes, because I could never replace him. If you saw, I kept bringing him back as a ghost and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wish I'd kept him around and just had him kind of like that, an invalid, but he's still in the game. And I think that would have also, would have brought another aspect to the audience. I said, wow, okay, so you've lost this use of this, but you're still providing knowledge and support.
Well, and it's really amazing what it has become and what it means for the city of Philadelphia and the sports world as well. I mean, the NFL had a draft there a few years ago on the steps of the art museum. They had to move your statue, right? I mean, they moved it, but it was I'm telling you, Sylvester, it was the most visited spot of the entire NFL draft, people going up to that statue. And then obviously Philadelphia Eagles game starts and you've riled up crowds there as well. Did you ever think that, you're going to be part of the Philadelphia sports scene forevermore?
No,
even though
Rich, literally that was made as, a prop for Rocky III, even though it was made by a very, very respected sculptor, sports sculptor, Robert Schoenberg. But did I ever think it was going to be a flashpoint or some tourist attraction? Never. But the mere fact that they took the statue and put it at the bottom of the steps off to the side, I think it's perfect because Rocky, his kind of character belongs at the bottom of the steps. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's more inspirational down there than at the top.
And the Eagles are undefeated in the NFL season.
How about this? I'm afraid to go to one of their games because I went to one of their games. I went to the first game at, I guess it was the new stadium.
I was there that night, and you were right. We were waving the towel, people going crazy. I was there that night.
Yeah. And they lost, and I know they blame me. So I know, I'm telling you, Tampa Bay was in. Take that, Rocky. Oh, Rocky got knocked out. Oh, I said, I'm never going back ever to a game when they're really undefeated. Like if they were 1-9, I'm there.
Well, that's the Rocky story, right? I mean, that's the Rocky
exactly
story.
Right.
That's the comeback.
I'm not jinxing anybody.
That's the comeback. So again, Tulsa King, it premiered this past Sunday. New episodes drop weekly on Sundays exclusively on Paramount Plus. It is it's a great show, a red hot, obviously, showrunner and writer as well. So congratulations on that moving forward.
Thank you, Lester. Thank you very much.
Hey, before I let you go, we had Martin Kove, the actor here, to promote Cobra Kai the other day, and I asked him, "Tell me your favorite Sylvester Stallone story," and he told a story about your politeness in an Acapulco disco led to a fist fight that had nothing to do with you. Do you want to tell your end of that story, Sylvester?
No, I don't. But I'll tell you, Martin Kove was such a gutsy guy. He's the first actor I met standing on a street corner. There's a fellow walking around who's supposedly in a Viking helmet, begging on a giant guy, a Viking. They used to call him Moondog. And I walk up and there I see this other guy going, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? What do you think about this jerk here?" I go, "Yeah, let's check." And we started talking about Moondog, and little did I know that he would become a lifelong friend.
Yep, and he told a story, and it was quite an interesting one. So I just figured you'd give your end of it. It had nothing to do with you, he said. So you're very good. Sylvester Stallone, thank you for the time. If you're ever here, in LA, want to come in and chat some more, I would love to go over your career a little bit more. And congrats on Tulsa King.
Anytime. My pleasure.
Appreciate that. That's Sylvester Stallone, Tulsa King. Check it out on Paramount Plus, which you can see right here on Roku. And also the author of Sly Moves and the host of the Sylvester Stallone podcast on Audible.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.